पाकिस्तान में तैनात कनाडा की हाई कमिश्नर लेस्ली स्कैनलन से मिलने इस्लामाबाद में उनकी रिहाइश का पहुंचे। कनाडा की पब्लिक अफेयर्स ऑफिसर जरमीना नैयर और पॉलिटिकल ऑफिसर मोहम्मद जुबैर ने इस्तकबाल किया। वुमेन्स डे के मौके पर एक दिन के लिए सफीर बनाई गई पाकिस्तानी लड़की सैयदा ईमान फातिमा के हमरा इस्तकबाल किया। Her Excellency, what is the idea behind making a lady or a girl ambassador of the day?
The idea is to expose young women to leading and visible leading women in Pakistan. So for us to have the opportunity to bring young women from across the country to meet up with leading Pakistani, you'll see today in your program, you're meeting with some wonderful Pakistani leaders, but it's to give visibility to women in positions of leadership. And we say in Canada, if you can't see it, you can't be it. So to expose young women to women like us in leadership roles, I think is a very strong message.
What are her responsibilities for today?
Well, today, our ambassador for the day, she's going to be leading a meeting with all the managers at the High Commission. She'll be having lunch with a leading Pakistani female politician. We have events at the PNCA today culturally, so lots of activities and lots of inputs from our ambassador for a day.
ईमान, आप बताएं, आपका ताल्लुक कहाँ से है और आप कैसे सिलेक्ट हुई?
जी, मेरा ताल्लुक कराची से है and we went through several procedures. First, we had to write an essay on environment. And then we got shortlisted, then they interviewed and they selected me.
Would you like to introduce your parents and your university, where you come from?
मेरी वालदा का नाम निदस फातिमा, she is the dean of Ziauddin Pharmacy, and my dad is a businessman, Kamran Chishti, and I have two sisters, and university is University of Karachi, final student of mass communication.
कैसा लग रहा है आपको आज कनाडा की एम्बेसडर बनकर?
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. I'm very excited to be the ambassador because it's an opportunity that student might not encounter much.
आप क्या समझती हैं कि ये जो मौका आपको मिला है, इससे आपकी पर्सनैलिटी को, पाकिस्तान को, पाकिस्तानी ख़वातीन को क्या फ़ायदा होगा?
Definitely बहुत फ़ायदा होगा. ये मुझे फोर्थ फ्रंट पे लाके खड़ा कर रहा है as a leader. I know that I can lead a meeting. They have the trust in me. I know a woman can rule and they can be in the forefront line, whether be politics, whether be development, whether be education. So definitely is going to play a huge role.
कैसे आप पहुंची? आपका ख्याल है कि आप में वो क्या खूबी है जिसने आज आपको एम्बेसडर ऑफ द डे बना दिया?
I think my love for environment and the dedication and passion to have a change in Pakistan.
एनवायरनमेंट के बारे में आपको क्या पसंद है? पहाड़, समुंदर, मैदान, पानी?
Well, definitely mountains and beaches.
Both contradictory.
But see, Karachi is like a land of beaches, and it also has a border with Balochistan, which is like a mountainous range. So you kind of have both.
I wanted to add that the theme this year was environment and climate change. So all of the candidates had to write on that issue. And so all of the ambassadors for a day this year are focused on that issue.
Are you going to make some decision about the climate change or environment today?
Yes, definitely. Just as a student, I'm also part of certain campaigns. I've been to the activities that concerns environment, whether internationally or nationally. So I have pretty first-hand experience.
Her Excellency, you have a vast diplomatic experience. You have been ambassador in Poland and now you are High Commissioner of Canada in Pakistan. Did you find Pakistan different from other countries?
You know what I've been most moved by here is the diversity of the country. I've traveled from north to south, from east to west. And everywhere you go, the clothing is different, the dances are different, the food is different, the faces are different. And I've really enjoyed that cultural diversity. And I don't think many countries have that much diversity in the country.
Which culture, which dance you like the most?
I think I have spent a lot of time in Chitral. And I think that because I'm a northern girl, I think that being in a northern place is good for me. So with the skating up there, and the warmth, and we have had very good food up north in Chitral, so I think I'll say that the north, Chitral is probably...
I know that you are a graduate in journalism, and your father was a journalist, your many relatives are in journalism, and how a journalist became a diplomat?
Well, in journalism to me is something that is applicable to any field. You learn how to have a good conversation, you learn how to analyze, you learn how to do research, you learn how to dig into things, and you learn how to express yourself. So for me, when I decided to enter the Foreign Service, I really enjoy international. I like living abroad. I like dealing with issues. And for me, journalism, I worked as a journalist, not for very long, but for me, the excitement of traveling overseas and serving in different countries and learning different languages, that really made me want to go into diplomacy.
But we know that journalists are very sharp-tongued, sometimes critical as well, but diplomats are always diplomatic.
But in both cases, you have to have the facts, and you have to go into any situation very informed. And I think that as a diplomat, when I'm speaking to Canada, I'm very frank because I have to explain Pakistan to Canada. And when I'm here, I have to be more diplomatic in my interactions publicly. But we have a very good relationship with the authorities in Pakistan, and we can have very frank conversations as well.
Ma'am, I have met many persons in my life because of my journalistic career. Similarly, diplomats go to every country and they learn new things wherever they go. Do you think that your personality in Canada was different and now it has changed?
Well, that's a funny question. I was in Japan for 6 years. I speak Japanese, and my mother came to visit me when I first went to Japan. And she said that when I answered the telephone, you know, in Japanese you say mushi mushi, a woman says mushi mushi when they answer the phone. She said your whole body became very small. And you said, mushi mushi, and your voice went up. And I think everywhere we go, we adapt to local circumstances, of course. So I think I'm probably different. I probably speak more quickly when I'm home in Canada than I do when I'm here. I probably am more composed here because I'm representing Canada, whereas when I'm home, it's personal, you're with family and friends. But I'm not sure I've changed fundamentally. I'm probably pretty similar, no matter where I am.
Do you think sometimes to go back to journalism?
No, I have no interest in going back to journalism. It's a tough sector. It's hard to keep a good job in journalism, and it's so important to a democracy to have a robust journalism. So I feel like the media is such an important component to a modern democracy. But I personally not sure I'm up to the challenge anymore.
You speak French, you speak English, you speak Spanish, and you also know Japanese. Have you tried for Urdu?
I did a little bit of Urdu study before I came, but when you're going out as an ambassador, everything's top secret, so it's hard to train on something. And then you get here, and life is just so busy. When I give a speech, I always include some Urdu in my speech, but I don't speak Urdu.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, I would say, depending on what the speech is about, I would always start with Assalamu alaikum, of course, but somewhere in the speech, I'll say something that refers to the topic in Urdu out of respect for for the people I'm speaking to.
I know Canada and personally you are very interested in human rights and women's rights. And Pakistanis are also learning these ideas and are trying to practice them. But how would you advise us to improve this condition?
I think an important thing is visibility. I think having visible women in leadership is very important. And last year, that's why I wanted, for the first time ever in Pakistan, to do Ambassador for a Day, for example.
She's a Pakistani girl you have selected?
Last year, we had a girl from Chitral, and she was the first time any embassy had ever done Ambassador for a Day. It was Canada's initiative. And it gave her the visibility. She met leading Pakistani politicians. She met women-led UN agencies. She had a very rich day of meeting women in leadership. And we have an active group of women ambassadors in Pakistan. And this year we decided we would approach the other embassies to see if anybody else wanted to join us in this initiative to give profile to women in leadership. So we have a group of embassies this year, a much bigger group of ambassadors for a day. But we work with all kinds of different areas in women's empowerment. We do in women's empowerment through sport. We support women in economic development. We support women in the political process, not just as candidates, but also supporting the political process by supporting candidates. So our programming, Canada's development programming, humanitarian programming, is a feminist foreign policy, feminist international assistance program. So everything we do is through the lens of women and girl empowerment.
Climate change is a new phenomenon, and Pakistan is hit the most by this. How Canada and Pakistan can work together on this climate change?
Canada was very quick to respond in the light of the floods in 2022. We provided $58 million worth of assistance for mitigating and rebuilding after the floods. We do. I think that our best support to Pakistan is helping with capacity development to help Pakistan consider what's best for Pakistan for mitigating and adapting. So we do a lot of work with communities all around the country. I think of examples in Sindh, examples up in Chitral, where we're working with passive solar greenhouses, or we're working with hydroelectricity. We have Canadian investment down near Karachi, JCM Power, and that's wind turbine investment. So giving advice to Pakistan, I think the question is the government has to make good infrastructure decisions, because climate impacts are real in Pakistan, but the government has a role as well as the international community in supporting Pakistan as it makes decisions on investment and infrastructure. Things like landslides on the Karakoram Highway. Walls have to be stabilized, because a lot of the people who live up north, they need the wood to keep their houses heated, so the hills get deforested. So the government obviously has to focus in on infrastructure, but I think for Canada, capacity development and helping rebuild is a priority for us.
I know you are the most sincere and good friend of Pakistan. Have you faced any difficulties while being posted here?
I have not faced any difficulties being here, no. It's a fascinating place, and I eat Pakistani food every day for lunch, and I talk about it on social media. I've traveled so much and really enjoyed that.
Is this Pakistani dress you are wearing?
This is Pakistani, yes. I have several of these. I think they're just gorgeous. I really am enjoying my time here, and the travel especially.
Which area of the country you bought them?
I bought this at Beirut. It's all handmade here in Islamabad. But I have clothes from all over the place, and our food. And I can never. We did last year at the Ambassador for a Day. We did Pakistani Canadian food fusion, and we had 6 different items on the menu. And the one item that won was Nahari poutine. So it was Canadian poutine with Nahari sauce on top. Very, very popular. So yes, I'm enjoying Pakistan very much.
You are wearing black rings.
That's a sapphire. It's from Sri Lanka.
You like stones?
I do like stones. Yeah, it was my wedding, but this jewelry is from Pakistan, and the earrings are.
Do stones affect the life of the persons?
I have no idea about. I've seen where stones are produced up north in some communities, and it's obviously a source of income generation for places. But I actually don't shop. This I didn't get here. I don't buy much jewelry, to be honest. But.
यूरोपीय यूनियन की सफ़ीर रायना क्यूनिका की रिहाइशगाह पहुंचे। विमेंस डे पर मुख्तलिफ मुल्कों के सफ़ीरों को खाने पर मदऊ किया गया। जर्मनी, यूरोपीय यूनियन, बुल्गारिया, ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने भी वुमेन डे पर पाकिस्तानी लड़कियों को एक दिन के लिए अपना अपना सफ़ीर बनाया।
Leslie, to the High Commissioner for Canada. Leslie came up with this idea to do this here in Islamabad. Did it last year, and earlier, a few months ago, came to us first of all the Women Ambassadors Group, and later to the wider group.
And I'm the acting Bulgarian ambassador, and it's an honor to celebrate this Women's Day with such powerful and inspiring women.
I'm Umama Nadir, and I'm the UK ambassador for a day. I've learned quite a lot in these few hours, especially about the life of an ambassador.
I'm Mahanur Sohail, and I am honorary ambassador, Austrian ambassador for a day. And what I have learned is that women are working side by side with men, not behind men, but side by side with men. And the time has changed a lot. It's not a time when women were considered slaves and they were just bound to their houses.
ग्रुप फोटो बनवाया। Making a women ambassador of the day. And how do you see, will it affect Pakistani society?
For sure it will. It will affect Pakistani society, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in a few months, years, for sure. The idea is to elevate the prospect of women as leaders in diplomacy, but other areas as well. And so what we're trying to do here is give young women a chance to act as ambassador for a day, and therefore also model what a woman leader looks like.
Ma'am, what's your name and where you come from and how you were selected?
My name is Razzaq, and I'm basically from Dar Ismail Khan, KPK, but I have lived in Lahore. I have been living in Lahore for past 12 years, and my education and all the stuff is all from Lahore. So I was selected through their social media. I got to know about the program through their social media, EU delegation, social media account, and I applied. I wrote an essay and I recorded a short video. I sent it to them through email, and then I got the call that you're selected for the interview. So they interviewed me, and then after a few days, I got the message that you're selected as EU ambassador for a day, and you need to prepare yourself.
How are you feeling as ambassador of the day?
I'm quite honored, and I feel that it's something that I got through my efforts and the prayers of my parents and my teachers. And of course, I owe this success to them.
If you have the power of decision, which you definitely have, what will you decide today?
I think I will decide today that there should be more focus on girls' education, that we should do something about the girls' education, and we should empower girls to get education. And, I think they should excel in their fields, respective fields. So I think I will do something about this, and I will try to make some policies that will ensure this implementation.
His Excellency, you are the only male ambassador who has participated in this event, where you have also nominated a lady ambassador of the day. What inspired you to do this?
Women empowerment is such an important issue. You cannot only leave it to a half part of the population. So only men, also men have to participate in that effort. Otherwise, it will not succeed. And that's actually the basic motivation behind that. That's also the German embassy, where the normal ambassador or the usual ambassador is a man. We would have a lady today, because it's a very, very important signal also for us that men have to stand up also for women's rights, for their empowerment, for the betterment of the whole of society, and for the benefit of the society as a whole, also for men.
As a friend of Pakistan, what do you suggest us how we can really elevate the women of Pakistan in a few years?
One piece of advice that has worked, let's say, in our country: the more women participate in the labor market, the better society gets, and also the more opportunities for the society as a whole are created. So if you want a piece of advice, try to improve or increase women's participation in the labor market.
What do you mean by labor market?
Not
the job opportunities.
Job opportunities have women actually work, not just take university degrees for the wedding market, but take university degrees for the labor market. I think that is the short advice in short.
I'm Fatma Zara, and I'm from Lahore, LGS Paragon, and I was recommended by the German Institute Lahore.
How you are feeling, and what message you have got of being the ambassador of the day?
I'm feeling great. It's a great honor. One message that I would like to give all women from Pakistan is that they should definitely participate in everything, and they should fight for their rights because they deserve it, and it's not a luxury. It's their right, and they should speak up for themselves. They should never back down.
पाकिस्तानी खानों, बिरयानी, कोरमा और मगरबी खानों पास्ता से तवाज़ो कीजिए। PNCA पहुंचे। वुमेन्स डे के मौके पर पेंटिंग्स की नुमाइश लगाई गई। पाकिस्तानी खवातीन के हाथ की कढ़ाई के स्टॉल लगाए गए। कपड़ों पर दीदा ज़ेब कढ़ाई की गई। माइम परफॉर्मेंस देखी। Her Excellency, with the growing Pakistani people settling in Canada, and you are becoming our second home.
Yeah.
How many Pakistanis have settled in Canada so far?
Official figures are around 500,000, but informally, probably it's a lot more than that. It's a very dynamic community. And in fact, in the last fall, the over 40 national cricket team came to Pakistan from Canada to play in a cricket tournament in Karachi. And they were all Pakistani Canadians, Sri Lankan Canadians, and they all were from around Toronto. It's a big, but they're all over Canada, but the biggest communities are near Toronto.
Are Pakistanis doing well there? Are they professionals? In which professions they are working mostly?
I think you'll find there's no sector in Canada that doesn't have Pakistani Canadians. There are parliamentarians, there are business people, there are teachers. In Canada, we don't know where somebody's from. We're a country of immigrants, and everywhere we go, it's a very diverse place. And so I must meet Pakistani Canadians and not know they're Pakistani Canadians. They're just in every part of life. So I wouldn't distinguish that particular group. They're just like any other Canadian. They do everything there is to do in Canada. So
how many students, Pakistani students, are studying in Canada?
A lot of Pakistani students go from here and they study in all. And I think we had 16 Canadian educational institutions here in Lahore, in Karachi, and in Islamabad, promoting Canadian colleges and universities. And there were lineups at every booth.
University of Toronto is very famous here in Pakistan.
Yeah, lots of Pakistanis are going to study in Canada for sure. Some settle in Canada. They decide to stay there because I guess they fall in love, or they decide they like the life, or I don't know.
Many Pakistanis complain that Canadian visa process is very slow. Are you thinking of doing something to accelerate that process?
Well, I must say I'm very aware of the complaints. We have a lot of capacity challenges because we've had other challenges like everybody else. There was COVID that caused a delay at the front end. And then there was the war in Ukraine that really put a very serious impact on our ability to deliver visas all over the world because the focus was the refugees coming out of Ukraine. And then there was the Afghan refugee crisis, which took another bunch of our capacity. So we're aware of the delays, but if you look at the IRCC website, you'll see that the delays have been reduced radically from what they were even a year ago. So I can tell you that it's something we're taking very seriously and working on really diligently. So it is an issue and we're very aware of it, but for us, it's important to bring talented Pakistani to Canada, so we want it to work.
Another complaint is visa denial. And many people who are very prosperous, they are industrialists. Some are even refused visas even then.
And do you know what? I'll give you a trick. A lot of people who are refused their visa, it's because they used a service provider to fill in the form and there's a mistake in the form. And the government of Canada refuses automatically if the form isn't properly filled out. And what I often find is when somebody is denied a visa and we look into it, it's because they made a mistake on the form and they didn't fill it out properly. So the lesson there is no matter how rich you are, fill in your own form. It's very straightforward online. Go and fill it out and be careful with your application form.
We know that doctors, truck drivers, and many technicians are in demand. Do Canada need nurses or some other professionals as well?
If you go on the IRCC, the website, you'll see exactly which specializations are in demand in Canada, and it varies by year. It's not the same all the time, so it'll be very clearly identified. So yes, nurses are always in demand, doctors are in demand, but there's a certification challenge. So if you come as a professional like a doctor, you have to have your credentials recognized. So let's say you're a Pakistani, you go study at U of T in Toronto, you become a doctor, you come back to Pakistan, you practice, but then you want to emigrate to Canada, then you'd have no trouble practicing medicine. But if you didn't study in Canada, it takes some time to get your qualifications recognized in Canada. But there is a demand for medical professionals and all kinds of specializations, and that's all clearly enunciated on the IRCC website.
Now coming to some lighter questions. Do you like spicy food?
Okay, here's the thing. I love spicy food, but a lot of Pakistanis don't think that foreigners can stand their spices. So I've been at dinner parties where my Pakistani host will say, oh, you can't have that. And I'll say, oh, why not? And they'll say, oh, it's way too spicy for you. And I'm just like, oh. And then it makes me want to have more spice just to show them that I can eat it. But I like food very spicy, so I'm
heard
loving
that
it.
you can cook Japanese food. Have you ever tried to cook Pakistani food as well?
We did. I asked the residence chef if he would do a cooking course for some of the Canadian diplomats. And so we all took a course and learned how to make, I don't know, I can't remember what we made, but we had all the beautiful spices on the counter. We took some beautiful photos, but I have Pakistani food every day for lunch. And people tell me on Twitter what I should try. And so the chef makes everything we get for advice, we make it. And then I tweet about it. So,
have you ever tried Pakistani music as well? Any singer you liked?
I can't name a singer. I know I like it, but I'm not that knowledgeable about it. But I'll direct you to the EU ambassador's video from last year on Pakistan's National Day. There were musicians from all over Pakistan, and it was just gorgeous. Traditional instruments and traditional music. And I hear it everywhere I go. It's different depending on the region we're in. So it's lovely. Yes.
Her Excellency, Ambassador of Canada, for 8th March, ये बताएं कि आज का दिन कैसा गुजरा, आपको एम्बेसडर बनना और एम्बेसडर की हैसियत से काम करना कैसा लगा?
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, एक तालिब इल्म के मौक़िफ़ से मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि मैं उन जगह जा सकी जहाँ मुझे नहीं लगता था कि एज ए स्टूडेंट मुझे एक्सेस होता या मेरा जो है वहाँ पे जाना कभी भी होता. तो मेरे लिए बहुत डिलाइटफुल एक्सपीरियंस था एंड आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू द कैनेडियन एम्बेसी फॉर टेकिंग एन इनिशिएटिव लाइक दिस एंड एम्पावरिंग वुमेन लाइक अ स्टूडेंट लाइक मी. आई एम डिलाइटेड.
आज आप लेडी क्वीन भी थी, आज आप बॉस भी थी, हाई कमिश्नर ऑफ कनाडा भी थी. ये दिन गुजारने के बाद अब आपकी क्या ख्वाहिश है?
इसके बाद मेरी यही ख्वाहिश है कि मैं भी डिप्लोमेट या एम्बेसडर बनूं परमानेंट इस बार.